right now, we're going to stick with conventional, but each manufacturer has something cooking. Majority of all brands have at least one electric slash hybrid,
Yeah.
and they're moving forward with those. We're looking at 2035 up to 2040. We'll have most likely a full electric fleet for almost all manufacturers.
Okay.
There will be maybe that one car that's going to have gas, but for the most part, majority of them are all going to be, the new vehicles are going to be all electric.
Okay.
So by 2040, everything will be electric and most likely self-autonomous, right? The cars are pretty much going to drive on their own.
On their own, right? Yeah. Well, we've been
story.
hearing about that, but the verdict is still out. We have not been hearing anything good so far about all these self-driving cars. But if you live in Toronto, I don't think it's going to work out because we have two seasons here. We have winter and construction. So
that's it.
So there's no way. I'm just being pessimistic right now about that. But we'll whenever we get to that bridge, we'll cross it, right? Yeah. But what are some of your recommendations and suggestions based on your vast experience in the industry right now? What would you recommend for dealers?
For dealers, it's make it very efficient for your customers. We have to look at what's going to keep bringing your customers back to you, right? And after the sale of the vehicle, you got to bring them back. So that means they're going to be coming to your parts department and your service department.
Right.
And what you have to do is really understand that people will not have to come out to a dealership to get a car. Yeah. They're only going to have to go there for servicing. Okay. Yeah. So your dealership might most likely just be a test drive area. That's pretty much what it'll be, because you're going to end up buying
and I'm glad we're having this discussion, because this is what we don't call it now, the authorities need to understand and need to learn, right? In managing the day-to-day affairs, we always have to look towards the future, right? And that is why it is contingent for, your midterm, your short-term, and your long-term plans has to be in place in order to mitigate some of these things. I mean, natural disasters do happen, such as the coronavirus right now, right? Unfortunately. But at the same time, no, you see the measures that are being put in place, but at the end of the day, it affects everyone, right? But ultimately, it affects the bottom line, right? So how do we get past that? Get what I'm saying? You have to provide some form of avenue for the customers to come to you, or you go to them, while remaining profitable. It's really a balancing act.
So what we're seeing right now in other industries is a change from brick and mortar, and you don't want that in automotive necessarily, because there's a lot of jobs that the automotive companies bring to people. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of jobs, and if we cut out the brick and mortar stores, that's just a lot less people working. Right? Each person has something great to bring to the team, right? And what we have to do is try to keep as many jobs as we can, right? Yeah. Now, in order for us to be able to change with the times, I go back to service, because service is the one time if I sell a car, you might sell one person a car once every 3 years, 4 years in a lease, okay, for example. But that person is going to come back maybe 3-4 times a year just to get their car service.
Yeah.
Right. So you might see them 16 times, 20 times, right? Plus. Yeah. So you don't want to turn anyone away. And I've seen this throughout all my years, where I'll see the biggest thing about customer retention would be time management. Okay. And that's the service department managing their time and how much time it takes to get something done. Right. Yeah. I don't believe that oil changes should take an hour. I think an oil change should take less than 30 minutes and have that customer out the door.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true.
You ask you have a poll and you ask any single person, are you willing to wait an hour or half an hour for an oil change? They'll tell you 10 minutes, right? But if we can provide that same half an hour, we're doing well, right? You have places like where we have Midas, Meineke. We have places like that, right? Express.
Yeah, Quick Lube.
Yeah, people go there because of the time. Right? Yeah. So if we had a way where we're more efficient and lean with our time, and having people servicing done a lot faster, That is definitely beneficial because that's how you can get people to keep coming to you and not go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. Not only do we have factory trained technicians, we have state of the art facilities. Right. We know the vehicle, that make and model better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Right. If our price is very similar to someone else, why are we going to lose that client? Right. We shouldn't lose them for something that's complete in our control, and we can
Yeah.
control the time. Right.
Yeah. So the whole message is to be customer centric. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. We have to, that's all it's going to come down to right now, because we all get the stuff for the same price, even if it's the same labor. We have to look at the one factor we control, and that's time. And that's how you can keep your customer.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you lose that one client because something takes too long, they
But
will come
this
back.
this message that you're relaying to us is like, how many of us understands it that work within the dealership? You get what I'm saying? Knowing that the customer that comes through the door, they are the ones who are providing for us,
Yes.
so we can walk into this nice fancy dealership, see the flat screen TV, coffee centers over there, the couches, the elaborate displays, how the era is aesthetically set. So many things goes into how the ergonomics are placed in terms of the processes the customer goes through from the time they drive their car in, from the greeters to the service advisors taking the car through the garage, then the mechanic that does his diagnostics. The information comes back to the service advisor, back to the customer. The customer will approve yes or no whether they want to get certain things done, and then it's relayed back to the mechanic. Then the mechanic goes ahead and order the parts, and then the parts department has to find a way how to get the parts efficiently, effectively to the mechanic, and the process goes on and on and on and on and on, right? But at the same time, no, everything ties into a time factor, because believe it or not, nobody wants to sit inside a dealership for an hour, right?
And pay money.
And yes, exactly, because time is money, right? Yeah. Time is definitely money. And then things are those, we have to look at improving the process at all times, right? How do we continually improve? You're cutting out the fat, right? Because
that's it.
Yeah, because it's two ways you actually stay profitable. Either you increase your sales or you cut expenses.
You're right? Absolutely right. One of the words you said there that you said great stuff. And a couple of words that stuck out to me is I like cutting the fat, but the biggest one's efficiency.
Yeah.
We have to be more efficient, because you just had maybe 14 steps. And imagine that has to be done for every customer.
Yeah.
Every single day. So
exactly.
If you're a day, 7 days, 5 days a week, that 200 times, that's a lot. And
some dealers do 7.
They do 7. So how
some dealers do 7? Yeah.
We have to be able to cut that fat and get rid of that extra. Like, can we cut down some steps? Is there a way we can be more efficient with that, where we don't need it to go through that many people?
Yeah.
Right? Can we have, what if we had a department, or if you have a design where you don't have to go through all those different steps, right? And everyone's ready for it. And that's how you could be more lean, implement some Sigma 6 concepts into it. Yeah. But every dealership's going to be different, the way they do it. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
This is something, it's an investment, but that's the way it should go, because at the end of the day, the one dealerships that are doing it now, that are learning about it now, they're ahead of everyone.
Of course. And this is one of the reasons why, because when I was working intimately with the industry, what we had was benchmarking, right? At all times, we will benchmarking and best practices. We would meet with other dealers on a quarterly basis right across. So we will take, well, as you know, I'm originally from Jamaica. So we would meet with other dealers from across the Caribbean, right? At their dealerships. We will fly there. 5, 6, up to 8 to 10 of us, different managers from across the Caribbean. We will go to a particular dealership. We will meet. We will do presentations of our own performances, showing our KPIs, right? And then we will do a tour of the dealer that is hosting us, the dealership that is hosting us. And we will go through and we will learn and we will share and we will give pointers and we will take back to our respective dealerships and implement what suits us and what works us, because we have to get it tailor-made and fitted for our culture and our operations, right? So we have to take a lot of that. But when I came to Canada, I didn't see that much unless there was a large conference going on, right? Where persons will actually meet at that large conference and they will congregate and talk about certain things. But that's basically what is missing, because in North America here, the dealerships are more competitive, right?
Yeah.
They're far more competitive. They want to sell and maintain that the franchise, so to speak, from the manufacturer, because if they don't perform at a particular standard, then they might lose out on maintaining that franchise, right? It goes across the world, but from my experience, just that part itself was lacking. I may be wrong, but based on my experience that I saw here, right, much of that is needed for dealerships to collaborate and help each other out, right? Do best practices, look at the various KPIs and see how much we can move the market, so to speak. So I know it's a mouthful, but at the same time, no, I think you can relate to what I'm saying.